Hello my dear viewers, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If it's your first time to visit my channel and watch my video, do not forget to subscribe and click the bell icon so that you will be notified every time I'm going to upload relevant videos for you to learn. For today's video, we're going to discuss about the kinds of sentence according to purpose and structure. We have 4 kinds of sentences according to purpose and another 4 kinds of sentences according to structure. Now, what are those? Now, let's find out. Stay tuned. And this is our topic for today. Kinds of sentence according to purpose and structure. We have 2 major points here that we're going to discuss, the purpose and structure, okay? But before we're going to delve deeper to the kinds of sentence according to purpose, let us define first what is purpose, okay? What is your purpose why you eat plenty of food? What is your purpose why you go to school? What is the purpose why you clean your classroom? What is the purpose why you learn this topic today, okay? When we say purpose, this is the reason, okay, this is the reason for which something is done or created or for which something is. So meaning to say, when we say purpose, this is the reason of doing something. Do not forget one, the reason for doing something, okay? Why did you eat plenty of food? Maybe because you are famished or you are very hungry, okay? That is your reason. And here we have purpose in constructing sentences. And we have 4 purposes of constructing sentences, okay? And the first kind of sentence according to purpose is a declarative sentence, okay? When we say declarative sentence, it is a sentence that makes a statement, okay? And it always ends with a period. So the first kind of sentence according to purpose is declarative sentence. And what is the purpose of declarative sentence? Make a statement, okay? Do not forget that one, make a statement, and it always ends with a period here, period, okay? For example, he gave his wife a beautiful home. Now this kind of example is just a plain statement that says he gave his wife a beautiful home, and the punctuation mark used at the end of the sentence is a period, as you can see here, a period, okay? This is just a plain example of an statement that suits this example sentence is very good example of declarative sentence, okay? Next one, we have interrogative sentence, okay? When you say interrogative sentence, it asks question, okay? It asks question, and it always ends with a question mark, okay? It always ends with a question mark. This one, a question mark, just like that, a question mark, okay? It always ends with a question mark, and it always asks a question. For example, where are you going, okay? This is a good example of interrogative sentence because it asks a question, and there must be an answer for this one. And of course, when the sentence is asking a question, meaning to say it has a question mark at the end of the sentence, okay? This is the question mark, the punctuation mark that we're going to use, the question mark in an interrogative sentence. And the purpose of interrogative sentence is asking, or it asks a question. Do not forget that one. It asks a question and ends with a question mark. Where are you going? Perhaps this person is going to the park, this person is going to the mall, this person is going to school, okay? Another example of interrogative sentence is, what is your favorite color? That is a question. That is a question that has an answer. It could be blue, it could be yellow. And of course, the punctuation mark that you are going to use at the end of the sentence is a question mark, okay? The third kind of sentence according to purpose is an imperative sentence. When we say imperative sentence, it gives command, okay? Command or request. Now we have 2 classification of an imperative sentence. Here we have giving command and request, and it may be followed either by a period, or exclamation point. Okay, do not forget that one. The third kind of sentence according to purpose is imperative sentence, and the purpose of using or constructing an imperative sentence is giving a command or asking or giving a request. Okay? And the punctuation mark to be used at the end of this sentence is a period or an exclamation point. Okay, but we are going before I'm going to give you an example of this one. Let us first differentiate the command to request. Okay, what is the difference between command and request? When we say command, it's giving order. Okay, giving order or giving order to do something or giving you instruction. For example, clean your room. Okay, clean your room. Okay, this person is giving you a command or order to clean your room. What is the reason, or what will be the reason why this person is giving you a command to clean your room? Maybe because your room is untidy or your room is mess. So that is why this person is giving you a command to clean your room. It could be your mother or your father, your older sister or older brother is giving you an order to clean your room, and that is a good example of command. Okay, the next one, when we say request, it asking politely or formally for something, or it is asking someone in a good manner. For example, please teach us how to sing. Okay, this is a good example of request. It is because you are asking someone politely or formally to teach you how to sing. And what is the indicator that this sentence is asking politely? Of course, there must be the presence of the word please. Okay, please. This word signifies that you are talking to someone or you are asking someone a request in a polite manner. Okay, please teach us how to sing. Now, that is the difference between command and request. When we say command, giving order, that is giving order. And when we say request, asking politely or formally for something. And that is an example of an imperative sentence. Okay, imperative sentence gives command or request that is its purpose, and it may be followed by a period or exclamation point. Okay, now for the last kind of sentence according to purpose, we have an exclamatory sentence. But before we're going to discuss exclamatory sentence, let us recap or let us sum up the three kinds of sentences according to purpose. We have first, what was it? We have, okay, very good. We have declarative sentence. And what is the purpose of declarative sentence? It makes a statement. Very good. How about for the second kind of sentence according to purpose? We have an interrogative sentence. And what is the purpose for that kind of sentence? It asks questions or asking question or questions. Okay, that's good. And the third kind of sentence according to purpose, we have imperative sentence, and it is divided into two. We have command or request. The purpose of constructing an imperative sentence is giving command or asking for requests. And lastly, we have an exclamatory sentence. And what does it mean when we say exclamatory sentence? It expresses strong feeling or emotion. That is the purpose of constructing an exclamatory sentence, expressing strong feeling or emotion. And it is usually followed by an exclamation point, but not all the time, okay? Because it is usually only. Now, for example of an exclamatory sentence, we have thank you, mom. That is a very simple sentence. Thank you, mom. Okay, the punctuation mark used here in this kind of sentence is an exclamation point, this one. Now, the sentence is simply saying thank you, mom. Okay, it expresses actually a strong feeling or emotion of what? Of gratitude to his mom. Maybe because this person or this child got his new phone or got his new shoes or got his favorite food. That is why he is expressing his strong feeling or emotion of gratitude to his mom. So that's it. That's exclamatory sentence. When we say exclamatory sentence, the purpose is expressing strong feeling or emotion. Okay? Now, what is your purpose in constructing a sentence? It is it making statement? Is it asking question or questions? Is it making a request or command? Is it expressing a strong feeling or emotion? Okay, is it making a statement that is a declarative sentence? Is it asking a question or questions that is an interrogative sentence? Or is it making a request or command that is an imperative sentence? Or is it expressing strong feeling or emotion that is an exclamatory sentence? So those are the four kinds of sentences according to purpose. Very good. Now let's proceed to the second part, kinds of sentence according to structure. In the first part, we defined purpose. What is purpose? This one, we're going to define, of course, structure. We're going to define also structure. What is structure when we talk about in constructing sentences? Okay, when we say structure, this is the arrangement of and relations between the parts or elements of something complex. Okay, when we talk about structure, we are going to analyze here the arrangement of and relations between the parts, or relations here between the parts. When we say relations here between the parts, we're talking about the parts or the words of a sentence. Okay, what is the relationship between the parts of the entire sentence? Okay, and if the kinds of sentence according to purpose, we have four purposes. Here in structure, we have also four structures, kinds of sentences according to structure, four structure. And the first one, we have simple sentence. Okay, when we say simple sentence, we have here one independent clause. Do not forget that one independent clause and no dependent clause. We need to say one IC and 0 DC. Okay, 1 IC and 0 DC. That is simple sentence. But do you know already what is the difference between independent clause and dependent clause? If you don't, now let me discuss that one to all of you. When we say also simple sentence, it may have compound subject. Okay, compound subject. Okay, let's discuss the difference between independent clause and dependent clause. When we say independent clause, it is a group of words that can stand on its own as a sentence. Meaning to say, this is a sentence. Okay? When you say independent clause, it is a sentence because it can stand alone, or it can stand on its own. Very good. It has a subject, it has a verb, and complete thought or details that make the sentence or statement complete. For example, we have here, she danced gracefully last night. Okay, she danced gracefully last night. Now, where is our subject here? We have she. Very good, that is a pronoun. And where is our verb? We have dance. Very good, that is a verb in a past tense form. And the details that makes this sentence complete, we have here gracefully last night. Very good, meaning to say this kind of clause is a complete clause, or this is a sentence because it has a subject, it has a verb, and it has a supporting details to make it complete. This is a sentence. Okay, when I say independent, you can stand alone, you can stand without the help of others because you are already complete. That is independent clause. Okay, when we say dependent clause, this is about group of words that also contains subject and verb, but there is but here, but it is not a complete thought, or it is not having details to make it complete. Okay, for example, when we arrive in class, and then when you arrive in class, what happened next? Although that this example sentence or this example clause has a subject which is we, and has a verb which is arrive, and that is a present tense form of verb, but there is no supporting details here to make this statement complete. When we arrive in class, there is a big question mark here. What happened next when you arrive in class? So, meaning to say, there are lacking or there are lacking supporting details here to make it complete. And that is the difference, big difference of independent clause and dependent clause. When we say independent clause, from its root word independent, from its word independent, you can stand alone. You can stand alone because you are independent. You are complete. You are sentenced. However, in dependent clause, you are going to depend to someone. Depend to other details. Depend to other supporting details to make you complete. So that is the difference between the two. Okay? For example of a simple sentence, we have Kate and Shane are eating their favorite chocolate. Now we have here compound subject. When we say compound subject, we have two subjects here. We have Kate and we have Shane here. Kate and Shane. Now our verb here are eating. Okay, very good. And the supporting details to make this statement complete, we have their favorite chocolate. So Kate and Shane are eating their favorite chocolate. So that is the first kind of sentence according to structure. This is simple sentence. Okay? Simple sentence. One independent clause and no dependent clause. One IC, no DC. Okay? Next one, we have compound sentence. When we say compound sentence, we have two or more independent clauses with no. Again, we still have no here, no dependent clause. So two or more IC and then zero DC. Okay, very good. Two or more IC then zero DC, and that is compound sentence. Okay, now let's go for the example of a compound sentence. The disciples expected a small crowd, but thousands of people came in the procession. Okay, if we're going to look back for the definition of a compound sentence, we have two or more independent clauses here, no and no dependent clause. So meaning to say, this example sentence, we are going to divide this one into two in order for us to locate the two independent clauses, because that is the challenge here. We're going to locate the two independent clauses because compound sentence has no dependent clause, meaning to say we're going to look only for independent clauses. Okay, this one, the first part, the disciples expected a small crowd. And next one, thousands of people came in the procession. So this is the first one, and this one is the second. Okay, the second part. Now, the disciples expected a small crowd. Now, do you think this part has a complete thought? Very good. We have here the subject, the disciples. This is our subject. Okay, this is our subject here. And we also have a verb here that is in a past tense form. We have expected. Okay, and we have also here supporting details to make this part complete. A small crowd. So meaning to say, if we're going to read this sentence, it already have a complete thought or details, meaning to say this is a sentence exactly. The disciples expected a small crowd. This is the first independent clause that we found. The second one, thousands of people came in the procession. Okay, our subject here in the second part, we have thousands of people. And our verb here is came. And this is in a past tense form. And the supporting details to make this part or statement complete is in the procession. Okay? Meaning to say, this example sentence is a very good example under compound sentence, because when you say compound sentence, there must be two DC or two IC, but without DC. Two independent clauses and no or zero dependent clause. So this is a good example because we already found the two independent clauses here. The disciples expected a small crowd and thousands of people came in the procession. Okay, very good. Now let's proceed for the third kind of sentence. According to structure, we have complex sentence. When we say complex sentence, it has one independent clause and one or more dependent clauses. So we have one IC and one or more. So we have one or more DC. Okay, one or more DC. Very good. Now, or dependent clauses. So let's analyze, or let's take a look for the example of a complex sentence. After our trip to the beach, school started back, and I was excited to see my friends. So in a complex sentence, we have one independent clause and one or more dependent clauses. Okay, let's take a look for the first part here. After our trip to the beach. Now, class, do you think this part has a complete thought? Very good. It's not, because it lacks details to make it complete. If we're going to read this alone, this part only, after our trip to the beach, then what happened to your trip? Right? So it lacks details, meaning to say this is our first DC or dependent clause. So we already found our first dependent clause here. Then the next one, school started back. Okay, if you are going to read this part alone, do you think this part has a complete thought? School started back. Then what happened next? See, this part has incomplete thought, meaning to say this is our second dependent clause. Very good. Last one, I was excited to see my friends. Now, where is our subject here? Very good. We have I. And where is our verb? We have here was excited. Okay? Or was excited to see. That's it. To see my friends. This is our supporting details to make this statement complete. So meaning to say, we have one DC here, and another one DC here, and lastly, one IC. Okay, meaning to say, this example sentence is a good example of a complex sentence, because when we say complex sentence, one independent clause and one or more dependent clauses. Very good. And lastly, we have here compound complex sentence. Before we're going to discuss the last kind of sentence according to structure, let us recap the first three kinds of sentences according to structure. We have simple sentence, one IC and no DC. We have compound sentence, compound sentence, two IC or dependent clauses and no DC or dependent clause. And the third one, we have complex sentence. We have one IC, one independent clause, and one or more dependent clauses. Okay, very good. Now, in the last kind of sentence, according to structure, we have compound complex sentence. So meaning to say, we have here two or more independent clauses or ICs and one or more dependent clauses. Okay, very good. Two or more dependent clauses and one or more dependent clauses. Now, let's take a look for its example. We won the game, but my uniform was muddy because it rained the entire time. Again, when we go back here for the definition of compound complex sentence, two or more independent clauses and one or more dependent clauses. Now, in the example, we won the game. That is the first part. My uniform was muddy. We won the game. This is the first part. My uniform was muddy. The second part. And because it rained the entire time, this is the third part. Yeah, so we have three parts for this kind of sentence. The first one, we won the game. Clap. Now, class, do you think this part has complete thought? Where is our subject? We, very good. Our verb, one. And we have here supporting details to make it complete. Although the sentence has only 4 words, still it has a complete thought. Um it doesn't matter the number of words in a sentence for as long as it has a complete thought. We won the game. That is our first independent clause, or IC. Another one, my uniform was muddy. Where is our subject here? We have my uniform. And where is our verb here? We have was rather. And we have here muddy as our adjective to modify our noun or subject of the sentence, which is uniform. Okay, and that is this is our first IC. Okay, first IC, then the second IC. Okay, and the last one, because it rained the entire time, this is our DC. It because this statement lacks details in the beginning part. Okay, this is incomplete because it rained the entire time. Okay, what happened before it rained? Something like that. So we have here 2 independent clauses and one dependent clause. Okay, very good. So those are the 4 kinds of sentences according to structure. Okay, those are the 4 kinds of sentences according to purpose and another 4 kinds of sentences according to structure. I hope that you learned something relevant from me. Once again, I am Ryle Duterte. Please do not forget to subscribe and see you again for another learning experience.